Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss the second concept in the Unit 5, that is mining time series data. So, in the previous class, we have discussed about the mining data streams, and today we are going to discuss about mining the time series data. So, we are going to see what is meant by a time series data. So, time series data is a sequence of values or events changing with respect to time. So something the we are going to take the sequence of data or a series of a data that may change with respect to time. For example, you may take a company where you can see at particular year the sales may be more and a particular year the sales may be less. Or you can take an example of a stock exchange. There the points may be increasing and at a particular period of a moment, and at the same hour it may also get decreased. So it is evaluated based on with respect to the time. So these type of data which can be taken in form of a sequence, we can say that as a time series data, and when you analyze them we can say it as a time series data analysis. So data is recorded in regular intervals. So generally there are four components for the time series data. One is the trend, cycle, seasonal and irregular. What is meant by the trend? So trend is the data where you can see there is either a increasing order or in the form of a decreasing order or in a form of a stagnant manner series, then we can say it is in a form of a trend. Then coming to the cyclic is something where you can see the highest peak point. At the same time, a particular period of time it may fall to a lowest. Then again, if based on the work gain, it may increase to the highest point, and again it may go to the recession. So like that, it cycles around. Then coming to the seasonal, so based on the seasonal changes, that is at a period of moment in a year it may be increasing, and at the same year it may also see the decrease in the part. So seasonally it may vary, so we can say it as a seasonal. And coming to the irregular or a random, so these type of data is nothing but whenever there is an occurrence of uh, you can say as a floods, or you may have war or lockdowns or some explosives, where you can see these particular actions may take the changes in the all other, like the either in the financial part or in the part of a companies or some other. So there is a lot of change. So this type of data is said to be the irregular data. So what are the applications related to the time series data? You can see that there is all the industries may depend upon the time basis. So time base is not only something which is related to the summarized to the years or something like to the decades, but also to the monthly or day to day or minute to minute we are going to change. We are going to note down the what are the changes that are being performed. So in the financial, you can see the stock prices and inflation, and industries you can see power consumption, in scientific experimental results and meteorological precipitation. So here is an example of International Business Machine Corporation in the year of 97 and 98. You can see the price history of that, and at this particular graph you can see in the month of March there is a slight decrease, and again they may increase, and it may go to the peak, and a decrease and so on. This type of graph is being evaluated whenever the time series data is being taken. Then coming to the categories of time series, so we have, like we said, we have four components. One is the trend, the other one is cyclic, seasonal and irregular or a random movements. So coming to the long term or a trend movements. So trend curve is something where the series of data may have long interval of time in the form of an increasing order or in a form of a decreasing order or in a form of a stagnant manner. Like for example, you can take the population. It is increasing day by day, and year together you can see there is an increase in the population. And you can take the decrease, continuous decrease, that is whenever you take the note, the survey has been done. So according to the death rate, the death rate is been decreasing rapidly, or year to year there is a decrease in the death rate because of the most scientific medications that is being provided to the population. There is a decrease in the death rate. And you can see the stagnant. For example, if you take any company that may have the initial of share values which may be having the no increase or no decrease, it may go on with the stagnant manner. So like that, a series of data that may present in form of an increasing or a decreasing or a stagnant, then we can say it as a trend curve or trend analysis. Then coming to the cyclic movement or a cyclic variations, whenever there is a cyclic variation, like you can see, suppose if you take an example, like there is a software company where you can see the highest peak point may be achieved in the software, and the recession may come, and suddenly the software may get decreased, and it may put into the depression manner where lot of recession will come. Again a work gain will come, and again it will point to the highest point. Then again recession comes, then it will come to the depression. So like that you can see there is lot of changes in a form of an cyclic manner, that is it is touching to the highest point as well as it also touches to the lowest points. Then we say that as a cyclic movements or the cyclic variations. Generally these cyclic variations in periodic manner we can see in the business cycles. So you can see the highest as well as the lowest values. Coming to the seasonal movements, that is the patterns of the time series appears corresponding to the months of successive years. So the seasonal variations is something where you can see a company of one particular year, in some months it may get increased, and the same company may also see the decrease in the say a particular year in the same year itself. For example, if I take the ACs, which may be mostly having the sales in the summer seasons rather compared to the winter seasons, and you can also take the woolen clothes where you can see mostly found in the winter seasons and less sales in the summer seasons. Like that the seasonal changes or seasonal movements can be observed. And coming to the irregular or random movements, so random movements are something where the disasters are being performed. So the disasters, whenever there is no notify, like the wars, lockdowns, or some other reasons, may depend the random movements, which may also infect the seasonal movements, cyclic and the trend. So depending upon the the products or the depending upon the type we data we are taking, so it also leads to the other changes in the seasonal cyclic on the long term. Then coming to the time series analysis, so this decomposition of time series can have the two models. One is the additive model, another one is the multiplicative model. The additive model is a model when there is the trend, cyclic, seasonal, and the irregularity. So, in the additive model, the trend, the cyclic movements, the seasonal movements, and the irregular movements, where you can see all are independent to each other, then this particular model is said to be an additive model. Whenever the models are depend upon one another, then we can say it as a multiplicative model. That means, for example, if there is a, for example, like the lockdown, then there is a kind of the sales may get increased because there is lot of recession where the furtherly particular provisions or some other things may get or not, so most of the people may buy the certain products which are required by the general usage, and there is a kind of decrease in the products which are not useful, and this it also depend upon the trend. So like that, so certain increase, so generally there is a stagnant manner of the values where you are going to the sanitization products are being purchased maybe in a form of a decreasing, but due to lockdown, the at the point of this point it may get increased. So like this, there are different changes which may depend upon one another, then we can say as a multiplicative model. So coming to the, there are different methods for the trend curve. For estimating the trend curve, we may use freehand method or least square method or a moving average method. What is meant by a freehand method? Freehand method is nothing but the curve at the, looking at the graph, we may say that is it is either in a form of a increasing or a decreasing. So depending upon the data, we may estimate the method way that we say it as a freehand. Then least square method, where the curve is minimized the sum of squares of the deviation points on the curve from the corresponding data points. So we are going to find out using the formulas for the least square method using the sigma of x square, where x represents the sum of the squares of the deviation points in the curve with respect to the points that may exist. And we are interested about the moving average method. In this moving average method, we have the 3-yearly moving average method, we have 4-yearly moving average method, and we also have 5-yearly moving average method. So like this, we are going to calculate based upon the 3, 4 and 5. So what is this moving average method? The moving average method is something where you are going to, suppose if I take the values like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9, then for the first 3 years we are going to estimate the values and take the mean values, and we are going to present that particular average mean value in the middle of those 3 years. Then leaving the first one, we are going to take the analysis from the second, 2, 3, 4, and we are going to store in the 3, and in the next 3 years we are going to leave the first two, and again we are going to take 3, 4, 5, and we are going to store in the 4, and again we are going to leave the 3 and we are going to take 4, 5, 6 and we are going to store in 5. Like that we are going to store till the end of values. So these values are being taken as the moving average method. So like this we are going to take the average, which is nothing but we are going to smooth the data, and we are going to eliminate the cyclic, seasonal or irregular movements. And also this data will lose the beginning of the data and also end of the data, and it also can reduce the weighted moving average. Coming to the next one, that is estimating the seasonal variations. So the seasonal variations can be estimated by using two methods. One is the seasonal index, another one is the deseasonal data. So seasonal index is the index where you are going to represent in a form of a histograms or a graphical methodology. You can observe that we can represent them in a form of a graph and see. So a set of relative values of variable during the month and years. So like I said, the season, whenever you take in the seasonal variations for the summarized manner, that is in the form of a trend curve, you may not have the changes in the form of a season, but when you deeply dig into the monthly basis, quarter basis, or in the form of a weekly or a day wise, you may say there is lot of change in the sales that may increase or decrease. So for that seasonal index, we go for the monthly basis rather than going for the yearly or a decades together. So here we take an example of sales having an October, November, December of percent of 80, 120 and 140 average monthly sales, and we are noting down the index points. So D-seasonal data is the data where you are going to adjust the seasonal variation by the trend and the cyclic analysis. So you can observe here we have the seasonal index for the year for each month of this data, and we are going to represent in the form of a blue color graph, and in form of a green color graph you are going to set the data which is de-seasonalized, where you can original month data is seasonally indexed numbers with the corresponding months. We are going to put the data, and when these both data is there, we are going to apply a method called as linear regression function, where you can observe the red line, and based upon the nearest points that are existing, we may take this particular linear regression function and we may take the data that is covering the both the values. Then coming to the trend discovery in the time series. So we are going to discover the trend in the cyclic, that is estimating the cyclic variations based upon the cyclic that is irregular variations, that is by adjusting the seasonal or cyclic variations with the systematic analysis of the trend, cyclic, seasonal and irregular components are possible long-term share prediction quality. So in cyclic variation, like I said, we have the highest peak point values which may again get to the recession, and you have a depression point where at that moment it will go to the zeroid position, and again it may get increased to a and go to the highest point. This generally you can see in the form of a stock markets, where whenever you take the share markets of particular company, the company, you can see there is a lot of shares may be purchased by the customers. In one particular season it may get increased and it may reach to a top position, and suddenly the share value may fall to zero, and again it may increase to the peak point. Like this the irregularities may be there. So to find out the similarity search using the time series analysis. What is the similarity search? Like normal data queries which we find to match the different query. So similarity search is the search where you can find out the data sequence that differ only slightly from the given query sequence. So you need to find the similarity search. So we have two categories of finding out the similarities, that is using the whole matching method or using the subsequence matching method. When you say whole sequence matching method, that means whenever you take a query of sequence of a query, it may have the same sequence, then we can say whole matching. Or subsequence is nothing but a finding a pair of a similar sequence values. So you can have the applications. So generally these particular sequences can be find out using the data transformation methodology or data reduction. So the we can see the data transformation, that is where you are going to transform the time data to a signaling using the discrete Fourier transformation and discrete wavelet transformation, and we are going to find out the distance between the two signals in the time domain with respect to the Euclidean distance in the frequency domain, and if they are equal, then we are let them that particular data has been taken as the trend data. So this is the formula for finding out the Fourier transformation, and this Fourier transformation has the good to find out the coefficient values, and we have the actually the few upper bounds and lower bounds to find out, and we can keep only few coefficients to find out or few index points to find out the sequence of data by using the algorithm theorems like Pavel, where it will say about the distance of between the two, that is the square of the trend values should be equal to the square of the frequency values. So whatever the time values we are taking, the square of the time square values should be equal to the sum of the frequency values. Then we can say it is a Pavel theorem. And you can also find out the certain frequencies which may have the similarities by using the multidimensional indexing. We can construct Fourier coefficients, and when similar query is submitted to the system, the index can be used to retrieve the sequence that are more certain and small distance away from the query sequence. And if you want to perform the post processing by computing the actual distances between the sequences, the time domain, and discard the false matches. So the subsequence matching is nothing but in the Fourier transformation, you can see that whenever you draw the based upon the time basis, you have the curve in this format. Then you are going to put this particular time frequency to the frequency values where you can have a sinusoidal wave, and you are going to match these values. So once you are going to transform, you are going to take the uh, curve of related breaking down the curves into number of based upon the amplitudes and so on, we are going to divide, and we are going to check the values with the subsequences inside that particular window. If that particular matches, then we are going to put that particular sequence to a trend value. So we are going to take the original sequence, then we are going to remove that particular caps and we are going to divide them into number of amplitudes. Then we are going to check the data. If similarity exists, then we say subsequence are matching. So enhancing the similarity search methods, we are going to allow the gaps in the sequences and we are going to find out the differences in the offsets or amplitudes. So once we take the particular wave, we are going to normalize the sequence and we are going to take the amplitude scaling and the translation, and we are going to see that the two subsequences are similar if one lie within the particular width, that is based upon this distance we are going to say these are similar. If they are not similar, we are going to ignore by saying there are outliers points. So the two sequences are set similar if they have enough of non-overlapping time ordering pairs. So they have certain width of data which are having the minimum distance, then we can say them as a similar part of data. So the parameters can be specified using the sliding window, width of the employed similarity, the minimum gap and the matching fractions. So these are the components where we are can say these waves are being similar using the sliding window or the width of the envelope or similarity or the maximum gap that is occurring or the matching fraction. Then coming to the steps of performing similarity search, we have three steps. One is the atomic matching, window stitching and the subsequence ordering. So coming to the atomic matching, that is we are going to see the small length of gap free windows, then only we can say the two waves are being matched. Then window stitching, we are taking a particular time, in particular time period a particular window is taken and we are going to match with the gaps. If the subsequent gaps are allowed, then we are going to say both having the same gaps, then we can say that is both are matching. Then coming to the ordering, then we are going to see the linear order of subsequent matches to determine whether the enough similar pieces are existing. So both the waves are taken, we are going to linearly order the subsequent points, and if those points are lying with the same frequencies, then we can say those pieces are existing similar manner. For example, you can take there is a similar in the two fund mutual fund where you are going to take two companies like International Fund and Fidelity Selective Precious Metal and Mineral Fund. So you can observe that there is a similarity in the curve, and like this you can analysis. So next one is the query language for the time sequences. So that the query languages are specified to find out the sequences that is not belonging to the only one class but not belonging to the other sequences of the classes. And we can have the queries, different kind of queries like range queries or the nearest neighbor queries or all pair queries. And we have the allow the query to overall shape the sequence of the wave, and we can see the sequence of transitions or the macros are readable, and we need to ignore certain details like the patterns that are may exist like up and up. Here we are going to take the patterns and we are going to calculate the values, and we can see there is only slightly difference in this manner that is been upgraded in the pattern. So like this we may see the similarities that are existing in the same class and non-similarities that are existing between the other classes by writing certain queries. Thank you.